Hey guys, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to the channel, Foghorn 5. Hope you guys are doing all right. Are you guys having trouble getting your TM MWS Trigger Box out of your brand new lower? Is it the first time you've done it? Well, we all had a first time taking out our lowers. Today we're doing another TM MWS disassembly video. And in this case, we're gonna be taking out the trigger box out of a brand new lower. As you guys might know, getting the MWS trigger box out of a lower is very tricky. It's a lot of hard work, especially when it's a brand new gun. So I have a brand new lower here. Just wanted to show you guys some techniques on taking out the trigger box. We're not going to be focusing on any other disassembly. This video is just going to be about taking our time and making sure that we're getting this trigger box out, because I know some of you may struggle with that, and I kind of skimmed over it on the last video. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys could really follow it. If you need to refer to a video for other disassembly, we did a video on disassembling the trigger box, getting it down to all of its components to clean, re-lubricate, and then put it all back together. I'm going to be stripping this lower entirely because we're going to be using it for reference for some upcoming projects. So this lower is just going to be our reference lower, hence why I'm taking out this trigger box. All right, like any other disassembly style video, you're going to need some tools. First thing I got is a wood block or a 2x4 cutoff. You'll see why this is going to help. An 8-ounce hammer, a ball peen hammer, which is a little bit heavier than my 8-ounce hammer. Whatever kind of hammers you guys got, doesn't really matter. Normally, I'm not very specific on what size Allen key you're going to need, but in this particular case, you're only going to need one. It's going to be a 4mm metric Allen key, and then a medium-ish or standard-sized Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver that's been kind of ground down so it's not so sharp. You guys might want to do that. Take a sacrificial flathead just for that. And then I have a flathead screwdriver on the smaller side, and then 2 appropriately sized pin punches. That's pretty much all you're going to need for tools. If I happen to miss something, I'll let you guys know. So the first thing we're going to do is, doesn't matter what order you're doing it, but I'm going to take my grip off with that 4mm Allen key. If it's a new lower, that grip is probably going to be Loctited in there, so definitely be mindful of that. So I'll just go ahead and set this aside in my bin. If you guys don't have a bin, you probably should grab a bin. There's also a nut that keeps the grip on the lower, so don't lose that. I'm gonna set that aside in my bin. So now we have the grip completely out. One thing I forgot to mention is I do have my buffer tube off, and I do have my rear pin off as well. If you have to take your buffer tube off or your rear pin off, I could definitely do a video on that. It's super easy. All you gotta really do is just look up a video on how to take one off on a real AR. And also, you won't have to remove your rear pin or your buffer tube for any particular reason to take your trigger box out. What I meant by removing your rear pin is completely removing it and getting it out of the gun entirely. What you will need to do is you will need to actually pop your pin out, leave it like that, because you need to get into that screw right there that fixtures the trigger box, and you need to start hammering it out. And if you're doing that with the pin closed, you are going to be in a world of hurt. Now we're going to want to take that Phillips head screw that keeps the trigger box in out, and that is right here. You're gonna want to take that out because otherwise you're gonna be having an enormously hard time doing this. And of course, I grabbed the wrong size. If you guys ever feel like you have the wrong tool, or if you feel like you're gonna strip something out, like the head of a screw, definitely try to find the right size. Now I should be good. So go ahead and unscrew that. We're definitely not gonna want to forget this, so that's why I'm doing this first. Now that I got that screw, I'm gonna set that in my bin. The next thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to take your safety selector out. Cock it, cock both sides of the hammer, and you're going to put the safety selector in a 45-degree position and push it from the other side. You could do it with your finger, and you're going to just twist and pull out until it pops out. Mine popped out super easy. Now I'm going to set that aside, and then you're going to push out this pin right here with your pin punch. Should be real easy. You're going to push it out from the left side of the receiver out to the right. I'm kind of cheating here. I didn't mention to grab anything else, but I'm gonna grab an Allen key that fits in there, and I'm just gonna tap it out. Whatever you guys have to punch pins out, just use whatever you got. Now I'm gonna take this pin and set this aside. Then we're gonna wanna get our magazine release out. This is kind of tricky. What you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna push your magazine release. I'm kind of cheating again. I'm just taking an Allen key and pushing that magazine release out, and then you're just gonna unscrew it till it comes out. It's kind of hard to do. It's really wonky. And then push it a little bit. until it pops out. And then you're just gonna take your magazine release assembly and set that aside. Sorry if I'm kind of all over the place on what tools you need. It's just, I don't do this every day, so I'd forget. Then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our trigger guard and move it out of the way. We're gonna push this pin, it's spring loaded, and we're just gonna push the trigger guard out of the way. There we go. Now we are set to start taking our trigger box out of the gun. The reason I have this wood block is just so I could prop up the lower. It's a good idea to use that, so then you're not having to hold it in a weird way. It really helps a lot. And also, I'm putting it under the lower away from the bolt catch, so I'm not gonna break it. So definitely make sure it's away from your bolt catch, because we're gonna be hammering on this thing. Okay, so we'll take our trigger box, flip it upside down, and make sure our hammer is cocked, because then our trigger will be out of the way. And what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna hammer behind the trigger. It might be painful for you guys to do, but in order to do this, you have to do this. Right now, I'm just taking a pin punch, because it does fit in that area right now, to push the trigger box out. And already I'm getting a little bit of movement. A pin punch like this, something that'll fit behind that trigger to get it started, may just be enough for you guys to get that trigger box moving. That or a flathead like the one that I showed you in the beginning, like this one. And if you don't happen to have pin punches lying around, you could take a flathead and you could grind this down, because I'm sure you have an extra flathead that you could sacrifice. So you could either use it like this, or you could use a pin punch. I feel like the pin punch is just gonna work a little bit better. I already got mine moving quite a bit. And you're just gonna hammer away. Sucks to do this, but you gotta do it. If you gotta get your trigger box out, you're gonna have to do this. And then now I'm at the point where my pin punch is gonna be too large to go in without hitting the inside of the trigger channel, like slash hole, because it's tapered. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to use this flathead. Basically, your trigger box should be just coming out straight. And this wood block I found really helps. As long as the bolt catch isn't in the way, you'll be able to pop your trigger box out real easily. Look at that. Made tons of progress. Normally this is impossible. Also, another technique that you can do, if you're having trouble, once you get to this point, you could start hitting the trigger box here. Or if you look up in the receiver, there's the bottom of the trigger box shell, and you could hit it from underneath in the magwell. If it's not coming out straight, you may have to do a combination of those two things. But it's really all just about technique and how you start. If you start by getting it out straight, you're gonna have an easier time because you're getting it out straight. This is the easiest trigger box I've ever done. Pretty much almost done. My Z plate already fell out. Set that aside. It will fall out. Don't get worried if it falls out. Now that I'm here, I might have to prop it up like this with the 2x4. All right, that's a trigger box completely taken out. It's not as hard as you guys think. If you have trouble with it, try either of those techniques. Try either hitting the trigger box up in here in the magwell, or if you've gotten far enough, in through the safety selector hole. But the main thing is to cock your hammer back and hit the trigger right behind the trigger itself. So right here, where you see that wear is exactly where you want to be hitting. It's all about just getting those first couple hits right, then it'll go straight out. If it ends up coming out crooked, the bolt catch will kind of seize itself right here. So that's something to keep in mind. And that'll basically make it super easy. It should come out straight and nice and easy. That is a trigger box completely removed. If you miss any steps or you don't take a pin out, you're gonna have a super hard time. So just so you guys know, don't forget anything like that, because it will make your life impossible. I was expecting this video to be way longer, but I've gotten pretty good at it. I don't do it all the time, but I'm pretty darn good at taking trigger boxes out now, and I figured out how not to damage the trigger itself too much. If you guys are having trouble taking your trigger box out, definitely take a break. Don't overdo it. Just walk away from it for a while and just clear your head from it, because it could be really frustrating getting these trigger boxes out. I know, because I've had some major frustration trying to get one out. If you guys feel the need to, hit us up, shoot us a DM on our Instagram, send us pictures on where you're at. If you need any help, just let us know and we might make a video about it. I'll put our Instagram up here. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you so much for your support. Let us know if you have any questions again. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell. Be notified every time we have a new video. We're gonna try to keep doing more tech work, and we're gonna also do more gameplay and history, stuff on clones, if you guys are into cloning. And we have some really cool projects on the way, partly why I'm doing this. So stay tuned. Thank you guys so much. See you on the next one.